In my hour of despair, I suffer in my loneliness. I'm hanging on by a thread, not a sound but the blood pounding in my head. You left me without trace and treated me like a disgrace. My life is slowly fading away as it flashes before my eyes. I'm really free. You go to war, fight till you can't fight no more. That's what it's all about. When the veils of darkness surround you like down. We fought the battle side by side against creations you denied. Left was just an unknown one. Indoctrinated machine was the one I had become. A servant at your beck and call, loyal, always standing tall. Upon breath to lay on my soul, lacerated and wasted, left out in the cold. You go to war, fight till you can't fight no more. That's what it's all about. When the veils of darkness surround you like sound.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the W2 Report. Today we're going to prove that there is no Matrix. I'm joined today by Lord Crocker Squirrel, who will read you the ground rules right about now.
Rule number 1, don't be a dick. Rule number 2, if in doubt, please refer to rule number 1.
Alright, let us go over today's meme, which is... Wait a minute, has it been 24 days since Shane Isaac threatened a lawsuit on ScamTubers?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. The question, of course, is has he actually followed through on any of it?
And the answer of that will be a solid no as of now. But we do have 3 bits of news to go over on Earth 2 today. So let's start with what's related to the meme today, and that Shane Isaac on the 2nd of September 2022 made this tweet. He basically said, "I can't guarantee an outcome, but what I can say is I've been the one holding back." That ain't true. With the preference to take the high road, which will inevitably prove them wrong. I can only do so much, though, as the slander worsens, and that option will be out of my hands and with legal.
Yeah, I'll buy that for $1. But I want $1.10 in change.
Yeah. So basically, what he was responding to at the time is the threat of a lawsuit by Twitter user by the name of Ronald _IMMA, and he was wondering, when are you going to sue the scam tubers? That's pretty much what he was saying. And the replies to that tweet by Shane Isaac have sparked vitriol. Because they want to see a lawsuit filed against the scam tubers now. Even though we haven't talked about Earth 2 in quite a while now. Especially since
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, at least 3 weeks, because Callum basically was the first to break the silence on a new security hole. So with that said, let's discuss this new security hole, and it relates to the Holobuildings. And as you can see right here, this is the Holobuilding marketplace. Now I'm going to do this in real time, so that way you don't miss out on a step. Okay, Squirrel, let's pick one. Let's pick a Holobuilding for us to quote steal today. Because there is a particular reason why that's for this choice. So Squirrel, let's have it.
Let's have what?
Let's pick a Holobuilding for us to steal today.
There's a tower-looking thing over on the far right.
All right. As you can see, you can probably, at first glance you probably think, okay, let's not. We probably can't right-click this. This little, you see this little camera icon on the upper right? That shows you can. And we're going to save the image. Actually, no. Better still, we're going to copy image link. Then we're going to open up a new tab. You're not supposed to see this. Paste. And if you press enter right here, right now, you get the PNG file. Now, what happens if I paste and replace the PNG with GLB? Can anybody guess what will happen?
Ease that download.
Yes, but what?
A crappy model?
Okay, let's find out. Oh, looky here. We have a GLB. We have a GLB download. Now let's open up the source, and I should have had all this prepared beforehand, but you know me. This is the internet.
We are professionals, folks. In short, we've screwed it up. In short, all of it's screwed up, and that's just kind of a thing.
Okay. Now, I'm going to switch sources here. I'm going to switch sources here because I know that we're going to need some of this. What? Let's turn you off. Turn you back on. Okay. Go into my little downloads folder. We'll sort this.
Because of course he uses the default downloads folder like all the other absolutely silly creatures.
Okay, now let's open up. The Hexagon folder. Let's open up the Hexagon program.
Hexagon, by the way, is okay. Sponsored, not sponsored. Yeah, Hexagon is actually free on a website called das3d.com.
Yeah. So let's open up the GLB. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot a step. My mistake. GLB to object. Okay, this is any converter. This is a website that I just pulled out of my ass because why not?
Because reasons.
Yeah, because we weren't actually prepared to go through this. So let's do this.
Because you weren't. I was expecting you to do
it. Okay, let's convert. And we have an error. Right, let's try you. Processed. That will be discussed later. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Right. Let's convert. Let's convert. All right.
Yeah, you may have heard, Sanji, that most modeling softwares don't convert. They don't actually do those conversions. You can't import GLB.
Right.
There you go. Now I know what I'm talking about.
Let us download as object. Okay. Now we can go to Hexagon. And we will select object files. Open. Now, we've done this to a couple of files already, but what seems to be the problem with all this?
Aside from a dire need for decimation,
Oh, yeah.
these things come out incredibly high poly for what they're supposed to be. And even then, you're gonna find all sorts of strangeness when you go over the file. If you try to import it into a renderer, the renderer is probably gonna kick it back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Either that or your render's just gonna explode.
All right. So, I have successfully borrowed a GLB file from Earth 2. Now, they cannot say, by the proof of this screenshot right here, they cannot say that they patched this security hole. Because all sorts of information got out about Earth 2 through, I basically got their front of house. I shit you not. I got their front of house in a zip file on my computer right now.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Because this is what you see. Hey, Disco Option, thank you for joining us. Yeah, that model is not something you would want to put straight into a game engine either. But yeah, this is technically one way too many steps that you would take to obscure your object. Anyway, let's get rid of this. And yeah, so I proved to you today that the security hole that Callum Upton pointed out
Most of a month ago.
Mostly a month ago, has not been fixed at all. So so let's back up a couple of steps here. If that security hole was claimed to be fixed, they lied to you. They have lied straight to your face about it. Now, Shane did figure something out. It's that if you download and re-upload the object, the original artist, whoever they may be, if they can even remotely find them, will take a piece of the pie. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, on to the third story of the day. And I think we're going to dedicate the balance of our time here today on it. Squirrel, you happen to know of Mr. Murdy's, or rather, Mr. Isaac's silent partner?
Yeah, Tony Merdy. Merdy, something like that?
Well,
I'm not 100% clear on exactly how his name works, but...
Well, considering the fact that he's Jordanian, living in Australia, and he got caught donating to a political party that was basically banned in New South Wales.
How does that actually work in a Commonwealth country? That's what I want to know. It seems like that's the thing that should not be.
Well, anyway, I did some digging this past couple of weeks, and I realized that Mr. Murdy has more fingers in the pie of Mr. Shane Isaac's businesses than one should not have.
And one should have, you mean?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, and I could just be remembering this improperly. So, patience here for a moment. Doesn't he actually own like half or more than of at least two of those companies?
Well, let's explore. Okay. I pull up a chart on a browser window just for my convenience, but if we start over here to the right, where Mr. Murdy actually is in this chart. Of course, we've proven with public documents that Shane Murdy, through Armia Group Holdings, owns half of Earth 2 Australia with Shane Isaac. But what isn't told, and what probably should be told, is that Mr. Murdy owns a little more than half. Well, technically speaking, 49% of a company called TIPEME Holdings. I will put it in the chat for those of you who wish to follow along. There is no security hold, yeah. So
all of the security there. Long story short, there is none. There is no security at all, it would seem.
Yeah. So if we work backwards from here, Shane Isaac owns 41% of the company that I typed in the chat. I don't know if it took or.
Why won't I actually read it for the folks at home? Some people are merely listening.
Okay. So it's TIPEME Holdings.
Tip me.
Tip me. So.
As in, give me a tip or I wreck your face.
Yeah. So Shane Isaac owns 41% of Tip Me Holdings. But he's also the director of Tip Me Holdings. Now, Evil Grayson, thank you for coming. But yep, you can't have a hole in what doesn't exist. Yep. Solid words of advice. So, Tip Me Holdings. If Shane Isaac owns 41% of Tip Me Holdings, who owns
the other 59?
Yeah, who owns the other 59?
Somebody owns it.
If we throw out 10% for miscellaneous shareholders, and we can prove that there is miscellaneous shareholders, that leaves 49%. 49% of the company is owned by a company called Vispac Party Limited.
Oh yeah, those guys. Well, that guy.
Right. And I busted open a paywall a couple of weeks ago that would suggest that Vispac Party Limited is owned by Praise Group Party Limited. Basically, they provide services for churches. Who owns and directs both companies? Tony Murdy. Everything Shane does, everything Shane touches,
Got old
Murdy
Tony
can
on
vote
the
him out.
background.
Yeah, Murdy can vote him out anytime he wants. What isn't proven, however, is you notice that there's a lack of arrows between Tip Me Holdings and Earth 2 Australia. What isn't proven is that Tip Me Holdings is directly linked to Earth 2. And that's what's troubling, especially since Shane Isaac is wanting to promote a social media app in Earth 2.
See, that just doesn't sound like a smart idea here.
No, it doesn't. And Tip Me Holdings owns the trademark to ID.xyz. Basically, Shane Isaac's social media app that he wants to introduce into Earth 2. This is very telling. This is very troubling. Why? Because according to their terms, they can introduce whatever they want, and you have to bend over and take it. Just like ID.xyz, here's their terms. Here is their terms. If we search for crypto, on this sheet, Thomas, smart ideas in Earth 2 aren't on speaking terms. Yep. We search for crypto on this sheet. And we get 5 results. 1, 2. All right. This paragraph right here should be very, very troubling to everybody involved. We reserve the right to, in the future, to convert your holding of virtual land and or any equivalent credits thereof onto to an equivalent value of cryptocurrency that we may create in the future. Any conversion will be conducted at a valuation reasonably determined by us. They have...
See, that begs the question of what is reasonable.
Exactly. Exactly. It begs the question, what is reasonable? And it begs the question, what is the cryptocurrency? Because they will do it. If we take the BitConnect scandal to an 11 right now, and we war game this out, and you know I hate being the guy who war games. If we war game this out, what's going to be the cryptocurrency that they introduce? And
depends on what you call a valuation too.
Exactly. I believe that when Essence goes crypto,
since they've already got everybody
hyped up on it.
Well, they've got everybody accustomed to the idea. Really. So, as far as they're concerned, as far as everybody else is concerned, this is a thing that holds value. Why does it hold value? We don't know. And in fact, based on any sort of monetary theory, it really should not. Even monetary theory looks at that like, no.
Right. All it is just ones and zeros to them.
Even if you're talking about a digital currency, you're still looking at a horrifying number of problems before you even really get started. That is a thing that will not, under any circumstances, end well.
2 paragraphs later. If we have converted virtual land holdings into a separate cryptocurrency as permitted by these terms, then you will maintain your rights to that cryptocurrency separately from your registration to the website in accordance to the terms that govern that cryptocurrency.
Which means that you get to keep the crypto, kinda. If by some chance it's even worth anything. But additionally, you don't get to bitch if your crypto holdings amount to zip zero zilch.
Right, which is exactly what Shane is banking on. If we're being honest. Basically, what these 2 paragraphs are explaining to you is that if we take away your virtual land, let's put the credits aside for a moment. If we take away your virtual land and convert it into a equivalent value of cryptocurrency,
you have to buy all new land. You can use the cryptocurrency to buy land, or you can try and cash it out, which is unlikely at best.
Exactly.
You'd actually have to find a buyer for that, and I don't see that actually happening.
Exactly, because because your rights in if we take a look at the preceding paragraphs, your rights in virtual land are not ownership and are conferred by contract. And there's no inherent value of virtual land or any particular blocks of virtual land.
Well, there's no inherent value in anything really digital, because you can just set up a new server and sell it again.
Exactly.
You're not dealing with the actual rules of scarcity. Things have value because they are scarce. Things that are not scarce actually don't hold a value.
Right.
So you're spending all of this money on something that can be replicated indefinitely. So if he manages to sell the entire Earth for, even 10 cents per 10 square meters, or for a 10-meter square area, then you're still looking at him being able to make the same money again and again and again and again and again, and all he has to do is pay the server fees, and then he can shut it down when he thinks the scam's gone on long enough. He can just say, "Well, nope, sorry, kids, we're not doing this no more," and shut them all down. Which is the thing that I would do if he got more than 4 or 5 servers going. Honestly, I'd probably shut it down at the end of server 3. Just make it all gone.
Honestly, Tony Murdy shot out a number. I think it was $500 million.
I don't know, something like that. Some super high number.
Well, anyway, I personally think that's the number that Shane Isaac is cashing out on.
Well, $500 million.
If he thinks Earth 2 has, if he thinks Earth 2 has $500 million, has $500 million, he will shut this down. Why? Because he could. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Why do you think he's playing broke right now? Because he's holding on to as much money as he possibly can. Now, I'll probably get sued for those comments. But I will stand by them and I will defend them when need be. Oh, you're absolutely right, Evil Grayson. They haven't gotten people accustomed to it. They've got people begging for it. Because there is such a thing as sunk cost fallacy.
Well, again, if you've got all this money in it, don't leave, because you might actually, you don't want to run off because you might actually lose the investments you have in the pot, and then there's a possibility that you might get it back. You know, casinos operate on this as that's just a function. Yeah, it's just casinos don't function without that. They don't.
And honestly, casinos is better security than what Earth 2 is offering right now. Because they're regulated. Banks are regulated. Crypto, to some extent, is not regulated at all. And if Shane Isaac wants to tomorrow convert all virtual land into this cryptocurrency, he can, and he can run away with the money because he can. Now, this is the second week in a row that I got angry. And I'm really, really, really trying real hard to maintain my focus right now. Because if you read these terms in plain English, not legalese, not what Shane Isaac envisioned the terms to be, you read these terms in plain English, you will see that this section right here that you see on your screen guarantees you nothing for your money.
But it's always the way. That's just the dangers of of software. Thank you, Mr. Gates.
But at least with software, you get something somewhat tangible in return. You can install. Actually, as a matter of fact, you can install Windows as many times as you want, as long as you have a proper license key. With Earth 2?
Yeah, but if they for some reason decide that they're not going to support it anymore, or they shut that particular server down,
yeah, you're fucked.
You're fucked. And that, in my opinion, is actually not a good thing. That's why I buy physical media whenever possible. What I find hilarious is you get places like Ubisoft and other similar and other, Ubisoft, EA, those kinds of people. And you wind up in a position where they hold the servers up for 3 or 4 years and then they shut them down.
because they
Um,
maintain
Might
some
Magic
cost.
Might Magic X was one of those. They actually, and due to serious backlash, um, they decided they were going to go ahead and push a patch so that you could actually do that, so that you could actually play the whole game rather than just the demo.
Well, there is a difference, but there is a difference between what EA is, what Ubisoft did with Might Magic X, than what Earth 2 is doing.
Oh, absolutely. But but Earth 2 can still do the same shit, and it's not even really a question.
Exactly. But
They can do all the things anytime they
right,
want to, and you can get fucked.
exactly. All right. I think that about does it for us here today.
I don't have anything else. Buy physical copies of your buy or create physical copies of your shit the second you get the chance.
Yep. Um.
That's going to be the thing. And oh, the other thing was is Ubisoft with a lot of Ubisoft games, you find that you go find the crack, and it oftentimes works better than the base, than the actual
Exactly.
licensed version. Even if you
Because
have the licensed version, you grab the crack just so you don't have to worry about Ubi shit in its servers.
right.
But then that's true of lots and lots and lots of places.
Well, anyway, Squirrel, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
I'm still breathing. We're good.
I'd like to thank the Disco Option for joining us in the chat, alongside Evil Grayson and Thomas Lindemann.
Yep.
Your contributions
Unitone.
to this conversation have been most gratefully appreciated. Until then, I am Sanji Imura. I'd like to thank you for watching the W2 Report, because it has been 24 days
Since the threats began.
since the threats began. And we will see you live on Twitch at about 3 hours from now, when we discuss when we do the post W2 Report live stream. I don't know what game we're playing today, but we will enjoy. You will find details on my Twitter account in the links provided down below, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Hasta bye bye.